What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with RK Outpost, and obviously if you were on the stream last night while we were learning more about Project Luminous, this whole High Republic thing that was revealed, I was covering it right here on my channel, just like I've talked about it in the lead up to it for a long time, and it was revealed. Now, obviously what everybody is talking about is that whiteboard, that easel that had the diversity representation on it. We talked a lot about that. We'll see how that actually comes into play, but I wanted to go and cover this in a little more detail of what they actually want to do with this High Republic era and why it's so frustrating as an expanded universe fan to see this happen, to see them try to go ahead and decide to build this world with their books and comics when they had this world with the EU and they decided to throw it away, and now they're trying to create something and pretend like it's revolutionary or something like that. And I'll also go over every single Phase 1 High Republic project that is announced, and we'll learn a little bit about it. But here we go. Star Wars news, every High Republic story and release reveal. Project Luminous will explore the High Republic era in the Jedi's Starlight Beacon. Here's everything Lucasfilm has revealed to date. Project Luminous is the future of Star Wars, and here's everything we know about this new story and the High Republic era it's set in. The Skywalker saga, the Palpatine saga, correction, has come to an end, and as a result, Star Wars has to change shape. Naturally, most fans are focused on what movie comes next, but frankly, the publishing side is going to be more important for the next couple years. Star Wars books and comics have blazed the trail for the franchise ever since the expanded universe kicked off in the mid-90s. George Lucas would likely never have returned to direct and produce the prequels had the EU not existed. Exactly. So at least this article shows some love and some credit where credit is due to the expanded universe. Thomas Bacon, thank you. I do appreciate that. And then he talks about how there has been rumblings about Project Luminous for months. Yes, so many people you see talking about this right now have not talked about Project Luminous for the months and months and months and months that it's been building up to it. I don't know if it's because just not as many people care about the books. Obviously, you guys have seen what I have behind me here. I care deeply about the books. Of course, I care about Star Wars Legends, the old Star Wars Expanded Universe, not so much the new Disney canon. But obviously, if you're going to come out with something and say that it's this big connected universe, that's going to have my interest because I do love books. At this stage, details are sparse. The story won't really begin until August with the publication of Charles Soule's first Star Wars novel, Light of the Jedi. Still, Lucasfilm has been preparing this way for months already, and now the marketing is beginning. Here's everything we know to date about Project Luminous and the High Republic. And the paragraph here was just talking about all the different authors that coming together to brainstorm and make this project happen, which is how they made so many projects in the EU. Whether it was New Jedi Order, Legacy of the Force, Fate of the Jedi. It was about all these authors that would be a part of it coming together and crafting these tales, brainstorming sessions, writing stories, and then figuring it all out, figuring out the details with the story group, everybody working together the way that you actually should build a story, not just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks like J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson and then J.J. Abrams again. Project Luminous is set in the High Republic era, a time of peace and prosperity in the galaxy. On Earth, the term High Middle Ages is used in relation to a period of social and political change, accompanied by an artistic and technological renaissance. Presumably, the same thing is true in Star Wars as well. It will take place 200 years before the events of Revenge of the Sith, and I've talked about before how I don't think that's really quite enough time for this transformative era to be set in. It seems like the galaxy is much different in this High Republic, and it doesn't seem like that much would be able to change and be forgotten about till we get to this prequel era. Just doesn't seem right to me. This is close enough to be within a lifetime of Master Yoda. Yes, it definitely is. There's no way we don't get a Yoda reference at some point. Perhaps indicating he'll have a presence, but this is enough for the events to have become stuff of legend by the time of Anakin Skywalker. The rise of Kylo Knight 2 established it was an age of exploration, with the Jedi, peacekeepers of the Old Republic, using the Force to chart new hyperspace routes and discover new worlds. An age of exploration seems strange because, like we said, we've heard Obi-Wan say the Jedi have been peacekeepers for thousands of generations. Yet only a couple generations ago is this time of exploration and expansion. Seems strange to me. Starlight Station is at the heart of Project Luminous, and this is a view of Starlight Station. It is the location of the Starlight Beacon, a space station that sounds like a cosmic equivalent of the lighthouse in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. So many people have compared it to that Deep Space Nine. Star Wars #2 featured a briefing in which they referenced Project Starlight, where it was designed to make Outer Rim safer. It was placed in an area of significant hyperspatial turmoil, helped people travel through hyperspace, hence the beacon. The Jedi of the High Republic era. The Project Luminous panel described the Jedi of the stories as Knights of the Round Table, Force sensitives who will become legends. Charles Soule has identified 2 different Jedi. The Wookiee, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce this, Buryaga Agaburi, and another Jedi named Avar Kriss, who was seen in the holocron in Rise of Skywalker. Avar Kriss was actually the one that's on the front of the cover, and we will bring up the covers at the end of this when we go over each story. Both travel and galactic communication were more difficult in the High Republic, meaning Jedi served as rangers, traveling the galaxy and keeping the peace. Visually, Lucasfilms put a lot of effort into designing the Jedi, commissioning Ian Kay, the designer of Darth Maul, to come up with ideas for Jedi. And then here are the villains, the Nile. They're supposed to be like space Vikings. They look like they're all different species, but they all share the same values or religious values or something like that. So that's what it seems like. Let's see. Star Wars Rebels confirmed some alien creatures can navigate hyperspace. It says they have a dangerous way of weaponizing hyperspace. And the Star Wars Rise of Skywalker Visual Dictionary canonized a Force cult called the Ang-Ti, taken from Legends, of course, who could use the Force to travel hyperspace. That may well have seeded the Nile. Of course it may, because that's what they do. They steal from the EU. That's what they do. Project Luminous will reveal what the Jedi fear, suggesting the Nile will be a terrifying foe indeed. Now, here is where we get to the actual... They only announced 5 projects. This whole big build-up only for 5 projects in Phase 1 of this. It will begin with Charles Soule's novel, Light of the Jedi. Light of the Jedi is a novel that will be published in August. Although Soule is traditionally associated with comics, and he's actually done some of the better work, I think, when it comes to Disney canon with some of his comics. He's extended to writing craft to penning some excellent novels, and Lucasfilm is clearly impressed. It seems Soule is a key player in Project Luminous, given his comics have been setting up High Republic era and Starlight Beacon for months. Then we have A Test of Courage by Justina Ireland, a middle grade book starring a 16-year-old Jedi Knight. This sounds to be the youngest Jedi ever to pass the trials. Yay! A story about a young Mary Sue. So it will be fascinating to see a story from their perspective. Can't wait. Into the Dark, by celebrated and much maligned for pushing her politics in her books and on Twitter and every chance she gets, crazy Claudia Gray. It's presumably a young adult novel. Few details were given about this book, but given Gray's previous work, it's most likely character-focused. And it's supposed to be about a Jedi who's inspired by a Matthew McConaughey type, that cover art you see there. Cavan Scott will be writing Marvel's ongoing The High Republic series, set mostly on Starlight Station and featuring various types of Jedi who work shoulder to shoulder with the Republic. At the space station, one of the Jedi is, quote, surrounded by legends, whatever that means. Maybe they're going to bastardize more from Legends. And Daniel Jose Alder will be writing IDW's The High Republic Adventures, which focuses on Jedi Padawans as they travel across the galaxy. It's worth noting, Timothy Zahn's novel Thrawn Alliances introduced a Force navigation power referred to as skywalking, which younger Jedi Force sensitives were more proficient at. We'll see if that's involved at all. And they just do talk about here with the Sith being involved. They shouldn't. Now, they shouldn't, because the Sith can't be involved 200 years before the Phantom Menace, because it doesn't make any sense. They're in the rule of 2. If any Sith were to be revealed, and the Jedi found out about it, then they wouldn't say all the things they said in Episode 1. So they better not have Sith in this, or else they're going to break continuity. But I think we all know kind of what we're expecting. As far as the agenda part of it, I do highly expect that there will be diversity, representation focused on instead of the story. But until we actually get that story, we're just going to have to go on what we can go on. But I think we all kind of know where, what their focus is going to be on, what that story group and all those people in there are actually focused on. But I wanted to give you some actual details about it instead of just talking about the whiteboard. let you actually know what's going on. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below if any of these things interest you or not. I'd appreciate your thoughts. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.